Stop everything for a moment. Take a deep breath. Right now, wherever you are in the world, I need to ask you one simple question. Which country are you in, and what time is it there right now? Because what I'm about to show you, what I'm about to reveal, will change how you see your life, your choices, and even yourself. And it doesn't matter if it's morning, afternoon, or night where you are. This message reaches everyone, no exceptions. Most people go through life explaining, defending, and proving themselves every single day, and they don't even realize how much energy they are losing. They are drowning in other people's expectations, drowning in noise and judgment, and slowly forgetting the person they are meant to be. But today, right now, you have a choice. By the end of this video, if you follow closely, if you let this sink in, you will see the world differently. You will understand how to step back, disappear without explanation, and reclaim a power that no one can take from you. This is not theory. This is not motivation you'll forget tomorrow. This is a life or death decision for your peace, your freedom, and your strength. So, tell me in your mind, what is your country? What time is it where you are? And now, pay attention, because your life is about to change in ways you cannot yet imagine. The courage to step back. The greatest power comes when you choose yourself over the noise of the world. Life constantly pulls at you people's opinions, endless expectations, judgment, and gossip. It is easy to get caught in all of it, to feel that you must explain yourself, defend your choices, or prove your worth. But stepping back, quietly withdrawing from all of that, is not an act of fear. It is one of the deepest forms of courage. Imagine someone who simply walks away from the chaos without making a scene, without announcing themselves, without offering explanations. Zen masters did this often. They left their villages, their towns, their familiar lives, not because they wanted to hurt anyone, but because they needed to honor the truth within themselves. They knew that true strength is not shown by how loud you can speak or how many people you convince. True strength is shown in knowing when to let go, when to step away, and when to protect your own mind and heart. Courage is not always facing the world head-on. Sometimes it is knowing that the world's opinions, the endless chatter, and the expectations of others are not worth the energy it costs. The real mastery begins when you retreat, when you choose your inner life over outer chaos. When you step back, you are not running away, you are giving yourself the space to grow, to see clearly, and to find peace. You are showing the world, silently, that your inner life is more valuable than the world's approval, and that your peace cannot be taken from you. The freedom of silence. The need to explain yourself is one of the heaviest burdens you can carry. Every time you feel the pressure to justify your choices, to answer someone's questions, to defend your actions, you give away a part of your energy. You hand over your peace to others, letting their opinions and judgments control your mind and your heart. Silence, on the other hand, is not emptiness. Silence is strength. Silence is freedom. When you allow yourself to remain quiet, you step out of the constant pull of the world. You stop trying to prove yourself, and in that moment, you regain your power. The world is full of voices, full of noise, and full of distractions. Everyone seems to have an opinion. Everyone seems to demand an explanation. And if you try to answer them all, you lose yourself. But when you embrace silence, when you allow your mind and heart to rest without the need for approval or understanding, you create a space where clarity can grow. Silence does not mean weakness. It does not mean you are hiding or running away. It means that you are choosing what is truly important. Your inner peace, your clarity, your ability to think and feel without being pulled in every direction. In silence, you begin to notice things you could not see before. You begin to hear the truth within yourself, the quiet guidance of your heart that is often drowned out by the endless chatter of others. There is a power in being untouchable, in moving through life without explaining every step, without justifying every choice. People may question you. They may wonder why you do not respond. But that is the point. When you are silent, you are free. You are free from the need for approval, free from the constant judgments, and free from the exhausting cycle of defending yourself. In that freedom, you find clarity, strength, and peace that words could never give. Silence becomes your ally. It teaches patience, self-respect, and calm. It allows you to watch the world without being consumed by it. And in this quiet, you realize that sometimes the most profound way to be heard is not to speak at all. Sometimes the deepest wisdom, the truest strength, is found in simply being, in simply existing, without explanation, without apology, without distraction. The peace of non-explanation. Every time you feel the need to explain yourself, to justify your choices, or to convince others of your reasons, you tie yourself to a chain you cannot see. Each explanation is a thread that connects your peace to someone else's opinion. Each justification carries the weight of expectation and judgment. Zen teaches that peace is found not in explaining, but in letting go. The moment you release the need to justify yourself, you step into a quiet power that no one can take from you. Choosing not to explain is not an act of arrogance. It is an act of self-respect. It is the recognition that your life, your choices, and your path belong to you, not to the approval or understanding of others. When you stop trying to make the world understand you, you stop giving your energy to arguments, debates, and misunderstandings that serve no one. Instead, your energy is preserved. Your mind becomes still. Your heart becomes calm. And in that stillness, clarity begins to grow. Many people fear silence because they think it will make them invisible or misunderstood or even rejected. But Zen shows that the opposite is true. When you stop explaining, when you let the questions go unanswered, the need to justify fall away, you step into a peace that others cannot disturb. You become unshakable, untouchable, and whole. Your absence of explanation does not create distance, it creates space, both for yourself and for others. People begin to see the truth, not in your words, but in your calm presence, in the strength of your quiet mind, in the integrity of your choices. Peace comes from the understanding that not every thought needs to be spoken, not every action needs to be defended, and not every step needs to be explained. Life flows in its own rhythm, and your energy is too precious to spend on proving yourself. Each time you choose non-explanation, you reclaim a piece of yourself that the world cannot take away. You allow yourself to breathe, to feel, and to live without the burden of constant judgment. In this peace, you discover a subtle freedom that is deeper than any applause or approval. You discover that you are enough, that your path is enough, and that your presence, quiet, deliberate, and unforced, holds a power words could never capture. Non-explanation is not silence out of fear. It is silence out of wisdom, out of self-respect, and out of the understanding that sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself and the world is simply to exist without justification. Invisible power. True power is not loud, flashy, or demanding. It does not announce itself with words or gestures. True power is quiet, unseen, and steady. It moves silently, like the wind shaping the mountains or the river carving its path through stone. Zen teaches that the most profound strength is invisible. It does not need recognition, applause, or approval. It exists quietly within you, waiting to be realized, untouched by the opinions of others. When you disappear without explaining yourself, you embrace this invisible power. You step out of the constant need to be seen, understood, or justified. People may not understand your choices. They may question your absence. They may even try to pull you back into their expectations. But this is the moment where your true strength reveals itself, not in confrontation, not in explanation, but in quiet consistency. By choosing not to argue, not to justify, and not to explain, you preserve your energy and allow your presence to grow in ways that words cannot describe. Invisible power is not about controlling others. It is not about proving that you are right or more capable. It is about mastery over yourself. When you stop giving your energy to external chaos, when you no longer react to every judgment, gossip, or demand, you step into a freedom that cannot be touched. People may see you as distant or mysterious, but in truth, you are deeply grounded. Your strength does not depend on how others perceive you. It depends on how firmly you stand in your own truth. There is a subtle beauty in being invisible yet impactful. When you stop explaining yourself, you create space for your actions, your presence, and your calm to speak. Others may not immediately notice, but your influence is felt. Just as the wind cannot be seen, but the trees bend and the waters shift in its path, your invisible power moves quietly through life, shaping circumstances, thoughts, and energy around you without effort or struggle. Those who seek constant recognition often lose themselves. Those who react to every opinion or demand often exhaust their spirit. But when you embrace invisible power, you become untouchable. You are free to think, feel, and act according to your own truth. You no longer give away your strength to the world's expectations. Instead, you carry a quiet confidence, a calm authority, and an unshakable presence that others cannot disrupt or control. This is the deepest freedom of all. To know that your strength does not come from being seen or understood, but from being whole, grounded, and aligned with your own inner truth. Invisible power is the natural result of self-mastery, the quiet outcome of stepping back, protecting your peace, and choosing your inner life over the endless noise of the world. In this power, you move through life without struggle, without explanation, yet profoundly influencing everything around you. Actions speak louder than words. Words are fragile. They can be misunderstood, ignored, or forgotten. No matter how carefully you choose them, words alone cannot carry the depth of your truth. Actions, on the other hand, speak in ways that cannot be denied. They leave impressions on the world that words never could. Zen teaches that the quietest, simplest acts often have the most profound impact, far beyond what any explanation could achieve. When you choose to disappear without explaining yourself, you begin to understand this truth. Your choices, your calm, your presence, your absence even, begin to speak for you. You do not need to defend yourself or prove your worth with arguments or justifications. Your life itself becomes a statement, a reflection of your inner clarity and strength. The way you live, the way you carry yourself, and the peace you maintain quietly communicates more than 1,000 explanations ever could. Think about it. When someone truly understands you, it is rarely through words. It is through the way you act, the consistency of your behavior, and the calmness you maintain, even in chaos. When you stop explaining, you allow your actions to speak. People begin to notice, not because you drew attention to yourself, but because your presence, your choices, and your integrity cannot be ignored. Your silence magnifies the power of what you do, and in this way the world begins to learn from you without needing to hear a single word. This does not mean that you must act to please others or to be recognized. Your actions are not for validation, they are for alignment with your own truth. When you act from this place, every gesture, every step, every decision carries authenticity. The world responds naturally to authenticity because it resonates at a level beyond explanation. People feel it, they sense it, they respect it without needing to understand it fully. When you focus on actions rather than words, you conserve your energy. You stop wasting it on arguments, justifications, or trying to explain yourself. Instead, your energy flows into the things that matter: the work you do, the relationships you nurture, the calm you cultivate, and the growth you achieve. Actions rooted in self-respect and inner clarity ripple through life, creating influence and change, quietly yet powerfully. The greatest teachers, the wisest people, often say very little. They let their lives show the truth instead. They do not react to every opinion. They do not explain every choice, yet their impact is undeniable. Zen teaches that living with this principle allows you to maintain your peace, strengthen your character, and create a presence that is profound, enduring, and beyond words. In the end, it is not what you say that defines you. It is what you do, how you carry yourself, and how you live when no one is watching. Actions speak louder than words, and when combined with silence and stillness, they speak in a voice that echoes far beyond anything language can achieve. Absence creates presence. Disappearing does not mean you are gone. It does not mean you are weak or absent in the true sense. Absence can itself be a presence, a force felt more profoundly than constant visibility ever could. When you step back quietly from the noise, the expectations, and the endless demands of the world, you create a space that allows both you and others to notice what truly matters. Zen teaches that this space, this quiet absence, has a power all its own. When you are always present, constantly explaining, justifying, and responding, your energy is scattered. People may see you, but they rarely feel the depth of who you are. They hear your words, but they miss the weight of your presence. Stepping away, even for a moment, allows your true essence to emerge. Others begin to feel the impact of your calm, your strength, and your integrity. They sense it not through what you say, but through the space you leave behind. Absence is not about avoiding responsibility or running from life. It is about stepping into a higher form of influence, like the wind that moves silently through the trees, shaping the branches without making a sound. Your absence can guide, inspire, and affect change without a word. People often realize the value of someone not by what they constantly do or say, but by what their absence teaches. When you withdraw from the constant chatter and chaos, the contrast makes your presence undeniable, even when you are not actively engaging. This principle also allows you to protect your own peace. By creating distance from constant demands and expectations, you give yourself room to reflect, to grow, and to act with intention. Your absence becomes a shield, preserving your energy and your clarity. At the same time, it becomes a gift to others, teaching them the power of space, patience, and reflection. The quiet power of absence also reveals truths that words often cannot. It shows others that your presence is not something to take for granted, that your energy is precious, and that your life follows a rhythm beyond constant explanation. People learn to notice, to appreciate, and to respect the calm authority that comes from someone who moves through life with intention, not compulsion. Zen teaches that absence is not emptiness, it is subtle presence. It is the echo of your strength felt in ways that cannot be named. The more you step back with awareness, the more your influence grows. You become like a silent river, flowing steadily and shaping the world around you, even when no one can see the currents. In this way, your absence is not a void. It is a force, a presence, and a lesson all at once. Release the need for approval. Most of the suffering in life comes from wanting to be understood, from craving approval, from feeling that your choices must be accepted by others. We spend so much energy trying to convince, explain, or prove ourselves to people who are too caught up in their own lives to truly see us. Zen teaches that this need for approval is an invisible chain, one that binds your mind, your heart, and your spirit. The moment you let go of it, a vast freedom opens before you. When you stop seeking permission from the world, you step into a power that cannot be measured by anyone else. Your happiness, your peace, and your sense of self no longer depend on someone else's recognition. The opinions of others stop dictating your choices. You no longer bend or shrink to meet expectations that are not yours. Instead, you stand firm in your own truth, guided by your own inner compass. This is not arrogance. It is self-respect, and it is the path to genuine freedom. Releasing the need for approval does not happen instantly. It is a practice, a conscious decision made again and again. Every time someone judges you, questions you, or challenges your choices, you can choose not to react. You can choose not to justify yourself. You can choose to step back and preserve your peace. Each moment you do this, your sense of self grows stronger, and the world's opinions lose their grip on your mind. Zen shows that people who live constantly seeking approval are like leaves blown by the wind. They react to every gust of opinion, every comment, every expectation, and their inner world is never still. But when you release the need for approval, you become like a tree with deep roots. The wind may pass, storms may rage, but you remain steady, grounded, and calm. Your choices flow naturally from your inner wisdom, not from fear of judgment or desire for praise. Freedom from approval also brings clarity. When you stop trying to please others, you have more energy to focus on what truly matters. You begin to notice your own desires, your own values, and your own purpose. Life becomes simpler, quieter, and more meaningful. You are no longer distracted by the endless cycle of seeking validation. Instead, you move through the world with quiet confidence, calm strength, and a presence that others feel even when you say nothing. Releasing the need for approval is one of the most profound acts of self-love. It allows you to experience life fully, without fear, without pressure, and without compromise. It opens a door to living with integrity, authenticity, and deep inner peace. In this freedom, you discover that your value is not measured by others, but by the way you honor yourself. You become untouchable in your clarity, and in this untouchable state, your influence grows quietly yet powerfully, like a hidden current shaping everything around it. Transformation in solitude. Stepping away from the noise of the world is not an act of avoidance. It is an act of creation, of allowing yourself to grow in ways that constant distraction never permits. In solitude, there is a quiet alchemy that transforms the mind, the heart, and the soul. Zen teaches that true growth often happens not in the clamor of activity, but in the stillness of being alone, when you are fully present with yourself. When you remove yourself from the endless expectations, judgments, and opinions of others, you give yourself a space to breathe. In that space, the mind begins to clear. Thoughts settle. Emotions find balance. The things that once seemed urgent lose their power, and what truly matters begins to emerge. Solitude allows you to see your own life without distortion, to understand your desires, fears, and dreams with clarity, and to realign yourself with your true path. Transformation in solitude is subtle but profound. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, even lonely. The world is used to constant noise, constant connection, and constant action. To sit quietly with yourself can feel strange or even frightening. But it is in this very stillness that the seeds of change are planted. When you are alone, free from distraction and expectation, your inner self begins to awaken. You notice patterns of thought you had ignored, feelings you had suppressed, and wisdom you had overlooked. In solitude, you learn the art of self-reliance. You discover that your peace does not depend on anyone else, that your happiness is not borrowed from the approval of others, and that your strength grows quietly within. You begin to trust your own judgment, follow your own rhythm, and act with integrity rooted in your own understanding. This transformation cannot be rushed. It comes slowly, like water wearing away stone, or the growth of a tree through the seasons. Each moment alone adds depth, clarity, and resilience. Zen teaches that solitude is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is a space where the heart softens, where insight deepens, and where the spirit is nourished. When you step away from the world to be alone with yourself, you are not hiding. You are preparing, refining, and strengthening. You are becoming someone who can act with clarity, respond with calm, and live with intention. You emerge from solitude, transformed, not louder, not flashier, but more grounded, more powerful, and more at peace with yourself and the world. This transformation is the ultimate gift of disappearing without explaining yourself. In the quiet of your own company, you discover a freedom, a clarity, and a strength that cannot be disturbed by the world. You realize that solitude is not a punishment, but a teacher. It shows you who you truly are when the noise falls away. It reminds you that your life, your peace, and your power exist within, independent of others. In this way, transformation in solitude is not temporary. It is permanent, shaping your life from within, quietly, steadily, and beautifully. Now, take a moment to breathe and let everything sink in. You have seen the power of stepping back, of embracing silence, of disappearing without explanation. You have felt how true strength is invisible, how absence can create presence, and how freedom is found not in being understood, but in honoring yourself. Remember this: the world does not need your justifications, your approvals, or your explanations. Your peace, your clarity, and your inner strength are yours alone. Protect them, nurture them, and move through life, guided by your own truth, not by the chaos or expectations of others. Every step you take from here, let it be deliberate, let it be quiet, let it be powerful. Actions speak louder than words, silence carries wisdom, and solitude brings transformation. And here's the secret the world rarely tells you. The more you step back, the more you grow. The more you disappear, the more your presence is felt. Your life, your energy, and your soul are your responsibility. Guard them with care, move with intention, and never forget the strength in absence. Carry this wisdom with you every day. Let it guide your decisions, shape your peace, and deepen your clarity. And whenever life feels loud, whenever people demand explanations, whenever judgment threatens your calm, remember what you've learned today. Step back, breathe, be still, and know that you are enough, exactly as you are. Your journey does not end here. It begins anew each day, each choice, each silent moment of reflection. Step forward quietly, powerfully, and live a life that cannot be shaken, a life that cannot be taken, a life that is truly yours. Thank you for staying until the very end. Carry this with you, and watch how the world begins to shift around your quiet strength.